In today's news, the U.S. government rests its case in the FOIA trial. CRC proposes referendum on premier term limits. Public schools and HLSCC reopened. BVICoC host networking and celebration event. Sexual offenses bill making progress. 67 cases before the Labor Arbitration Tribunal. Books by local author released in several languages. Protests erupt in Haiti. Calls made for PM to resign. U.S. government cautions against travel to Jamaica. We have the details of this and so much more when 284 News returns.
Start the year off with more. More speed, more downloading, more savings, and more FAHIE. CCT FAHIE fiber internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected. Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second. Super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVICoC FAHIE and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of 284 News. It is Thursday, February 8th, 2024. I'm Ron Grant, bringing you the very latest out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. Thank you so much for joining us and a happy Thursday's wish to each and every one of you. Beginning our newscast, frustration among jurors surfaced during the ongoing trial of former Premier Andrew Foy. The concerns were made apparent on Monday during court proceedings, with jurors expressing discontent over the prolonged duration of the trial. One juror took the initiative to pen a note to Justice Kathleen Williams, conveying her frustration and that of her fellow jurors. The note highlighted the collective feeling about the trial's extended timeline without any apparent substantial reason for the length of time. Another juror voiced a separate concern, expressing worry that witnesses might be present in the courtroom, observing the testimony of others. The juror who conveyed frustration regarding the trial's duration clarified to the judge that the discussions among jurors did not delve into the case specifics, but rather revolved around the pace of the proceedings. Responding to the raised concerns, Justice Williams assessed that the jurors seemed to avoid discussing the trial substantively amongst themselves, emphasizing that such discussions are prohibited until the closing of the case. The judge also reminded the jurors of her consideration for some members' parental obligations by concluding daily testimony around 2:30 p.m., accommodating those with childcare responsibilities after that time. In an effort to address the dissatisfaction, Justice Williams cautioned the jurors, emphasizing the uniqueness of each trial, noting that there is no specific time frame for a court matter. She urged, additionally, patience among the jurors and requested them to refrain from engaging in similar discussions during the trial. Monday's proceeding also featured an announcement from Foy's attorney, Teresa Van Vliet, indicating that the former premier would not be testifying during the trial unless something bizarre occurred in the final days. Meanwhile, key witness Ovaline Maynard, former BVI Ports Authority managing director, has been testifying, adding anticipation to the courtroom as the trial unfolds. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, United States government officially rested its case after the courtroom witnessed additionally testimonies and reviewed admitted exhibits on day 7 of the trial. Following this, the defense team initiated a Rule 29 motion seeking a potential dismissal of the criminal case. A Rule 29 motion grounded in the Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 29-1234 empowers a federal judge to dismiss a criminal case if the presented evidence is deemed insufficient to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Presiding Judge, Justice Kathleen Williams, in response, denied the motion, indicating that the trial will proceed to the jury deliberation stage. The denial implies that the judge believes there is sufficient evidence for the case to continue and for the jury to consider. Attorneys Kevin Gerard, Sean Thomas, McCollin, and Teresa Mary Bailey Van Vliet played prominent roles during this phase of the trial, representing various interests and contributing to the legal discourse. The trial resumed earlier today, February 8th, 2024. The Constitutional Review Commission has recommended that the British Virgin Islands hold a referendum to decide on the adoption of term limits for the position of Premier. This proposal comes with the overarching aim of addressing public discontent and calls for electoral systems reform. The Commission said it has carefully considered proposals regarding the introduction of term limits, particularly staggered ones, for the Premier's position. Drawing attention to international precedents, the report highlighted that nearly 100 countries worldwide have implemented term limits on their heads of government, albeit more commonly in the presidential systems. The report outlines arguments both for and against term limits. Proponents argue that limiting a leader's time in office prevents abuse, corruption, and entrenchment of power, fostering accountability and ethical behavior. It is seen as a mechanism to encourage rotation, succession planning, and the infusion of fresh perspectives. However, opponents contend that term limits might deprive the electoral of experienced leaders and could be viewed as undemocratic. The Caribbean region has seen limited adoption of term limits, with countries like Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago considering such measures unsuccessfully. Notably, the Cayman Islands has introduced term limits for the post of Premier. In the BVI, the call for term limits aligns with broader concerns expressed during the constitutional review, notably dissatisfaction with the first pass and the post system. In response to the strong sentiments surrounding term limits, the Commission proposes a multifaceted approach. Referendum consideration, the central recommendation, advocates putting the issue of term limits to a referendum, allowing citizens to directly influence this significant constitutional aspect. Direct election impact. If the decision is made to directly elect the positions of Premier and Deputy Premier, the Commission recommends considering the implementation of term limits for those roles. At-large candidate selection. If positions are to be selected from the at-large candidates, the perceived need for term limits diminishes in the Commission's review. Status quo consideration. Maintaining the existing structure, the Commission acknowledges the potential challenges of imposing term limits on a small pool of eligible individuals. Alternative measures such as recall powers are suggested to strengthen accountability. Now, viewers, in the essence, the Commission emphasized the need for a certain approach, taking into account the unique dynamics, they say, of the British Virgin Islands and ensuring that any changes align with the territory's democratic principles. All public schools and educational institutions have reopened for regular operations today, Thursday, February 8th. This after a decision was made by the Ministry of Education on Wednesday to close all public schools following advice from the Department of Disaster Management in response to the adverse weather conditions that have been impacting the territory. Despite still experiencing cloudy skies with periodic showers, the ministry issued the green light for schools to resume normal activities. However, a note of caution accompanied the announcement, with DDM advising individuals to exercise care due to the intermittent showers expected throughout the day. The HLSCC Community College echoed the sentiment, signaling a return to standard operations. Both the Tortola and Virgin Gorda campuses conducted classes in person during its regular operational hours. Despite the physical closure of Wednesday's public schools, and the college showcased resilience as educators were encouraged to leverage online platforms to issue assignments and facilitate continued learning. Viewers, up next, we have more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Just over the seas, there's a very authentic and natural dining experience that you can't afford to miss.
Yost Lime and Dine is for the linemen and dining enthusiasts, as the island of Yost Van Dyke opens its shores for extra hours of fun for 4 nights in January and 8 nights in February. Ferries leave West End at 6 p.m. on selected days and return at 10:45 p.m., giving you ample time to bar hop or drop by your favorite restaurants to enjoy the catch of the day or whatever your heart desires from the bounty of menus presented.
You pay $20 to go,
and we cover the cost of your return. Come, knowing that an unmatched experience awaits you every Saturday in January and every Wednesday and Saturday in February. And Valentine's Day falls on a Wednesday. So make plans now to join us for Valentine's night on Yost Van Dyke.
Come for the lime or come for the dine, cause we lime it.
And we dine in
on Yost Van Dyke. Dike, all January and February 2024. Check the BVI Food Fed page on Facebook for more details.
To make a reservation, call 442-1700 Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. or email joestlimandine@bvitourism.com anytime.
One Stop Auto, located in the R&R Malone Complex, Parkwood Pond, is having a huge liquidation sale on all inventory, excluding vehicles and genuine Toyota and Lexus parts. Get no less than 50% off all items on shelves and inventory room. Items such as car covers, steering wheel covers, wipers, sealants, chemicals, emergency cones, adhesives, license plates, frames, air filters, oil filters, front brakes, rear brakes, front rotors, rear rotors, radiators, shocks, and much more. A specific listing of all makes and models for which parts are available at liquidation prices will be posted on our Facebook page.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on the local scene, the Minister for Health and Social Development, the Honorable Vincent O. Wheatley, has revealed that substantial progress is being made with the drafting of the Sexual Offences Bill, with plans to have the legislation laid in the House of Assembly by September 2024. Wheatley was at the time responding to a question posed in the House of Assembly by Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Stacey Mathar. Mathar's question was centered around the minister providing an update on whether progress was being made by the government regarding sexual offences legislation in the territory and a sexual offences registry. While noting that the legislation is at the stage to soon commence public consultations on the proposal, Minister Wheatley also informed the public of 7 supporting bills that have been drafted from the Sexual Offences Bill.
Madam Speaker, the Attorney General's Chambers received the drafting instructions in February of 2020, and I'm happy to report that we were recently advised by Chambers that in drafting a Sexual Offences Bill, 7 supporting bills were consequently drafted, and the Ministry should be in receipt of same in the coming weeks for all review. Following this, we will reevaluate stakeholders. Following this, we will engage relevant stakeholders to garner feedback on the tenets of the proposed legislation. All things considered, we aim to have the bill approved and laid on the table of this Honorable House of Assembly by the 3rd quarter of 2024.
Wheatley, who presides over the 9th Electoral District, provided details on the scope of the legislation and how it stands to make an impact on sexual offense crimes once implemented.
Substantial efforts have been made towards the drafting and implementation of a Sexual Offences Bill. This includes the submission and approval of a legislative brief to the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands in September of 2019. The Sexual Offences Bill will seek to provide a gender-sensitive legal framework relating to a broad range of sexual crimes and provide adequate measures for minimizing secondary traumatization, mentoring and tracking of sexual offenders following their reintroduction into society. It will also address implementation, monitoring, and devaluation arrangements, investigation and prosecution procedures, legal proceedings, evidence and sentencing, and provide protection, support, and assistance to complainants and survivors. The Act will bring the Virgin Islands in line with international best practices for sexual offense legislation.
Deputy Speaker Mathar said he was pleased to be informed on the progress being made towards the legislation and thanked the government for taking the matter seriously.
Madam Speaker, my colleagues on the other side are making me smile today. Minister, I want to thank you for that, because the role that I play outside of this House of Assembly, I do see predators that have been convicted and who walk around, and our children, you know, we need to know what is going on. People do get reformed, I'm not saying so, but I do think our public needs to be informed, and I thank you for taking that very seriously.
67 cases are currently before the Labor Arbitration Tribunal. That's according to Minister for Financial Services, Labor and Trade, the Honorable Lorna Smith, OBE, who provided some insight into the tribunal's progress and work throughout her tenure thus far during a recent sitting of the House of Assembly.
11 cases have been concluded by discontinuance since my appointment as minister, with several cases currently ongoing. Madam Speaker, there are currently 67 cases before the tribunal. These cases are all at different stages in the process. 41 are scheduled for case management hearings. 9 cases are listed for trial. 3 cases have been tried and are awaiting decision hearings. 1 case is up for enforcement. 2 cases have been given partial awards and are awaiting further hearing in respect of an outstanding issue. 7 cases have been accepted by the respondent and are awaiting written awards. 4 cases are being dealt with administratively.
Addressing concerns about the staffing of the tribunal, Smith had this to say.
Section 29 of the Labor Code provides that the Labor Arbitration Tribunal be comprised of a chair and 2 other members. The Code also stipulates that the minister shall provide administrative support for the tribunal. So, Madam Speaker, the tribunal is supported by an experienced chair, a roster of 13 accredited labor arbitrators who are appointed on a case-by-case basis, a senior administrative officer as the secretary to the tribunal who manages the administration, an executive officer who assists with the clerical and frontline duties. Madam Speaker, given the volume of cases currently at the tribunal, the staffing amount is adequate. However, the ministry is keeping the staffing requirements under constant review.
On the 1st February 2024, the BVI Chamber of Commerce co-hosted an exclusive event, the Visit BVI Advertisers Cocktail, at the picturesque venue of Prime Restaurant LV3 Lounge in Roadtown, Tortola, to officially launch the 2024 edition and thanked the businesses for their support. The event, co-hosted with the magazine publisher North South Net International, was a resounding success, bringing together key stakeholders, advertisers, and partners to celebrate the spirit of collaboration and innovation in promoting the British Virgin Islands as a premier tourist destination. Now, viewers, attendees were treated to an array of delectable hors d'oeuvres and signature cocktails, creating an ambiance of hospitality and camaraderie. Throughout the evening, guests had the opportunity to network with industry peers, exchange insights, and forge valuable partnerships aimed at further enhancing the tourism landscape of the British Virgin Islands. The event also provided a platform for future advertisers to learn more about the advertising opportunity the magazine offers. The evening wrapped up with remarks from the BVICoC chair, Mrs. Shana M. Smith-Archer, who thanked the advertisers, the contributors, and the publishing team for the wonderful job they did for the 2024 edition, which has grown significantly, and encouraged new advertisers to secure an ad early. Mr. Gary Duell, CEO and publisher of North South Net International, expressed gratitude to all attendees for their unwavering support and dedication to showcasing the beauty and allure of the BVI to the rest of the world. Chairman Smith-Archer recently sat down with me to speak on the 55th anniversary of the Chamber and events planned to commemorate the milestone.
More information is going to come out about the BVI Yachting, Hotel and Tourism Associations. Persons still sometimes refer to us as CCHA, so we know it's going to take some time too for persons to get used to that. But just, for clarity, to let persons know, this was, CCHA sitting down and saying, how can we more effectively serve our business community? And, we consulted with the hospitality sector and said to them, hey guys, do you think it's time for a hotel association? And essentially they said yes, and they took up the mandate. So there is now currently an interim board in place, and they are working on putting down, some framework. The membership drive should start a bit, probably mid-year, so that, again, businesses in that industry can learn more about what the association will be working on, and learning how to become members. And persons have the option of becoming members of both, because, I was sharing with someone the other day that we have persons that may be members of the Marine Association and still a member of the chamber. So Understood. It's completely up to, businesses to decide where they want their representation coming from. We're here for everybody, micro, small, medium, large, whatever industries exist. So we are going to be looking at those cross-cutting themes across industries in terms of workforce development, the importance of the education system reflecting the economic needs of the country, economic policy, training and development for business owners, and networking.
Additionally, Smith-Archer spoke on the strong advocacy for business taking place within the chamber.
Let's just first start off with, what advocacy is. Sometimes persons get confused. They think it's all about challenging government on every single thing. And it is more so about us looking at what's needed for a business-friendly environment. Whether it's policies, legislations, more efficient and effective processes in the public service, what's happening with digitization. Those are the types of things that we are essentially constantly looking at. We also receive draft bills. So let's say, for example, the liquor license, trade commission, the gaming commission, and more recent ones I can think of, right? We were given an opportunity to essentially consult with our membership on their thoughts on these legislations before they actually went through to the House. We also have the opportunity to nominate persons to different boards, whether it's an advisory boards or the commissions, once they are already constituted, to represent business interests. So I want to encourage members as well that, this is part of the process, and it's not just for the directors, but that we do ask members to actually represent the chamber on these different boards. So those are the things where, they actually get to lend their voice to the voice of business, because we are here to essentially reflect them. But some of the concerns that we've been hearing, let's start off, probably the most recent was later last year, was when there were changes with the liquor licensing process that weren't communicated well. So, persons were expressing concern that it wasn't until they went in to do their renewals is when they found out about these changes. And, these things had costs associated with them. Of course. So it was something that was really, a challenging and frustration situation that was happening. And that, we want to continue to encourage, high levels of communication when there are changes like this, because we all want to see compliance. We all want to, follow the rules as they are laid out, but it's important to know what they are.
For the full interview, visit all 284 media platforms. Up next, viewers, we have more on the local scene. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Start the year off with more speed, more downloading, more savings, and more FAHIE. CCT FAHIE Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected. Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second, super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVICoC FAHIE and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. My name is Kamal Haynes. Most of you know me from 284 News, but now you get to see me in a different light on my very own show called Health is Wealth. We have Joel Turnbull.
I don't want you to arch your back when you're pulling down.
Milton McLean.
First of all, right, your footwork.
Steve Augustine.
You did a pretty hard workout today, so perhaps...
And as you can see, it's actually...
Alonzo Boynes.
Taekwondo.
Adam Murrows.
I'll speak as if you're an absolute beginner.
I am an absolute beginner.
You are an absolute beginner.
And Seth Graham.
It bites. It will bite.
Get your water, get your fruits and veggies, and experience a wealth of knowledge about getting healthy.
Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for sticking with us. Continuing on, local author Rick S.S. Grant has achieved a unique and remarkable accomplishment. His 4 books, previously published by Little Bell Caribbean, one of the premier publishers of Caribbean children's books, have been translated and released in new Spanish and Haitian Creole versions. This culturally enriching endeavor, conceived and led from beginning to end by Mr. Grant, is a first for a Virgin Islander, and writers and promotes representation in literature, cultural diversity, and language inclusivity. The translated books are When I Grow Up, Where I Live, Health and Safety for You and Me, When Storm Winds Blow. The purpose of the translation is to foster a love, he said, for reading and cultural understanding among children of all backgrounds, to emphasize the representation matters and to allow children to explore the world of literature and learn in their native languages. Grant worked closely with experienced local and national translators Mario, Psycho, Fedo Boy, Critolans, and their team to ensure that the message of each story in the new language editions was relatable, accurate, and culturally sensitive. Grant shared the following.
I believe that every child should have the opportunity to explore the world of literature regardless of their native language. By offering these translations in Spanish and Haitian Creole, we are truly taking a step towards a more inclusive literary landscape in the Virgin Islands, the Caribbean region, and the world where all children can enjoy the same stories.
Additionally, Grant commented on the translation.
These stories share a special place in my heart, and I'm thrilled to share them with Spanish and Haitian Creole-speaking children.
Now, viewers, all books are available in print and Amazon Kindle format. The first 3 of Grant's books published, Works, When I Grew Up, Where I Live, and Health and Safety for You and Me, have been featured in the U.S. Virgin Islands Governor's Summer Reading Challenge and the British Virgin Islands Summer Reading List. They are also found in homes and libraries throughout the Caribbean, the U.S. mainland, South Africa, and Peru, just to name a few. Grant said,
Language should never be a barrier to the world of imagination and learning, and I do hope that these translations bring joy to many young readers and can be enjoyed by families in Spanish-speaking and Haitian Creole-speaking communities.
In addition, media inquiries or requests for copies can be made via email at rick.grant@rickssgrant.com or telephone by 340-201-8477. On the international scene, in a dramatic turn of events, protests erupt on Monday in various Haitian cities, including the capital, Port-au-Prince, demanding the departure of Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Security forces responded with tear gas, grenades, and rubber bullets, heightening tensions across the country. A growing number of Haitians accused Prime Minister Ariel Henry of holding on to power and failing to organize general elections. Henry assumed leadership shortly after President Jovenel Moïse's assassination in July of 2021, pleading to conduct elections when deemed safe. Protests have surged as frustrations grow over the delay in the electoral process. In Port-au-Prince, the entire set of demonstrations, routine activities were severely disrupted. Schools remained closed, businesses operated minimally, and public transport faced disruptions as well. Demonstrations wielding machetes and occasional bursts of automatic weapons added to this intensity. Barricade roads underscored the tensions as a significant number of protesters demanded Prime Minister Henry's departure. Of course, in various towns as well, a number of persons were injured. Banks and public institutions ceased operations, and large-scale retail and industrial parks were severely impacted. Clashes in Les Cayes resulted in one fatality, with several others injured, further fueling the outrage against the government. Looting and blockades were reported, intensifying the unrest. Now, viewers, as tensions continue to escalate, the Haitian government faces mounting pressure to address the grievances of its citizens and to navigate a path towards political stability and a democratic governance. In a recent travel advisory, the United States Department of State escalated its warning for Jamaica to a level 3 travel advisory, urging travelers to reconsider plans to visit Jamaica, citing elevated risk related to crime and medical services in the Caribbean island. A level 3 advisory in the State Department's ranking system communicates an elevated risk and asks people to reconsider their travel plans altogether. The advisory highlights various safety concerns, including violent crimes such as home invasions, armed robberies, sexual assaults, and homicides, which are reported to be commonplace. Notably, according to the travel advisory, sexual assaults have been reported even within the confines of all-inclusive resorts. The U.S. Department of State has also called into question Jamaica's law enforcement effectiveness in responding to serious criminal incidents, noting infrequent prosecutions, and delays in issuing a final death certificate for U.S. citizens who have met untimely ends. In addition, the advisory stated that the homicide rate in Jamaica remains among the highest in the Western Hemisphere. For those who decide to travel, the Department of State strongly recommends that they obtain traveler's insurance, including medical evacuation coverage, before embarking on any journey to Jamaica. Additionally, it emphasizes that the U.S. government does not cover medical expenses incurred abroad, and U.S. Medicaid does not apply overseas. 6 days following the advisory, the Jamaica Force published a report stating the island experienced a notable decline in murders during the initial 27 days of this year, a nearly 20% decrease compared to the same period in 2023. However, the report indicated that some parishes have experienced an increased murder rate. In addition, it also highlighted an increase in other violent crimes, with 76 shootings reported compared to 64 in the same period last year. Robbery reports reached 50 cases, indicating a rise in such incidents. However, there was a decline in reported rapes, with 21 incidents recorded, down from 40 in the corresponding period last year. Trinidad and Tobago and Guyana are the only two other Caribbean islands ranked level 3 on the U.S. State Department's travel advisory. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Do have a safe and enjoyable evening. Happy Thursday. Goodbye.